Y'all, I am Nisha, and this is my ASMR channel. And in today's video, this is day 29 of the Monster Mash Marathon, where for 31 days I uploaded 31 videos. Most of them are spooky and scary. Some of them are just completely random. And today we are talking about Housewives. This is our weekly Housewives update, you guys. FYI, the weekly Housewives update will remain after the Monster Mash Marathon finishes. So, meet me here every Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday, y'all. So, yeah. Today, let's start with the Real Housewives of Potomac. So, y'all, in the beginning of this season, it was a little slow. It was dragging a little bit. I felt like maybe the season was a little dry. You know, I felt like the season was a little dry, but it's starting to heat up. I also felt like they were unfairly picking on Stacey, and I know in the beginning I was saying I don't know if I believe Stacey or if I don't believe Stacey, or is Stacey a liar. I had to remember who I was talking about and who was accusing Stacey of being a liar, and it was Giselle. She even had me fooled, but I've come to the conclusion that I think that Stacey is telling the truth. I think Giselle and Ashley are teaming up to be little light-skinned bandits and run wild on the girls and torment the girls, honestly. So I think they exaggerated this whole situation to rouse up Stacey. That's all I think that it was. I don't think Stacey is actually lying. But I do know Stacey made eating the girls up. She made me remember why I loved her so much last season. Like, I really do like Stacey. So, getting into the Preakness lunch. So, they're still at Preakness and all of that. So, Kay tries to say, like, Dia, who is one of the new cast members, who is British, she said that something was tongue-in-cheek. And Kay was like, oh, that's just like chin check. When has tongue-in-cheek ever meant the same as chin check? I'm confused. Somebody tell me when saying your chin check somebody was the same as saying something is tongue-in-cheek. And Tia was like, no, not really. Because chin check is like you're chin checking them. Tongue-in-cheek is kind of like, it's a saying for like, oh, it's just talk. But chin checking somebody is not just talk. You're literally chin checking them. I don't know. I don't know what Kay was confused about or why she tried to say that those two were the same things. Moving on. I'm really starting to not like Kay, which is sad because I really liked her. I thought she did really good last year. And I really like Kay, but she is not being a nice lady. So, moving on. Tia ate Ashley all the way up. And then ended it with her cute little joke like, yeah, when I first first met Giselle, she told me you would love me. You don't. Not even a bum bench or anything. I thought that that was funny after she literally ate her up and was like asking her like, do you know how to understand? Because Ashley was not understanding. Um, yeah, finally somebody that could eat Ashley up because usually Ashley just talks and talks and talks. But I feel like Tia handled it pretty well. Um, then Jazzy arrives to like the Preakness lunch, and immediately she's just like, "Oh my God, Wendy, Wendy, my illustrious Wendy!" Like, I don't know what that was about, but all right, girl. Um, I wrote in my notes that Angel want to be the number one wag so bad, like she does, and it's kind of sad. Like the first thing she asked Jazzy, she was like, "I heard you were wag," and then the second thing she said to her was, "Oh, what position does your husband play?" Because my husband was a 10-year starter, a 10-year starter. It took them a minute to catch that shade. Angel said she was being shady, but like Wendy said, 10-year starter. As soon as she said that, I clocked it. I'm like, not me and Wendy clocking the shade right away. Like, cause what reason did Angel have to say that to Jazzy? No reason at all. But we're gonna get back to this. Moving on. Kay was hating so hard at Preakness, and just in general, she's hating on Wendy. I really would wish that she would stop hating, because I really liked her when she wasn't acting like a hater. But she hated on the First Lady appearance. Like, she was like, "Oh, we did all this. You're saying you were invited by the First Lady, and you only saw the First Lady for a second." Chow is the First Lady, chow. Like, yes, Wendy was still invited by the First Lady. That's why y'all are there. And the First Lady had to do her rounds through all the people she invited. So she did her rounds. I think Kay thought they was about to like be kicking it with the First Lady the whole time. No, it was just an invitation to Preakness. In the same section as the First Lady. I feel like Kay hated on it. I think it was still cool. Like, invitation from the First Lady is an invitation from the First Lady. So after the First Lady left, they got right back to arguing, and I will say, now Jazzy ate Kay up by saying she was going through a lot with Craig. Because why would you say that? But Jazzy went low and Kay went lower. She took it all the way to hell, actually, when she was like, "Yeah, Jazzy, I know you're going through a lot, but I'm hearing a man who had 2 kids on you. I can't be mad at Kay. Jazzy made the first low blow, so Kay just took it all the way down to the fiery pit." So, yeah, but I feel like Jazzy kind of won the tit for tat, because she then fires back by saying, like, "I'd be mad too if all I had was a little condo that he didn't even pay for." Jazzy. Now, why would you say that? It was a good back and forth. I feel like Jazzy threw really good shade. I feel like Kay took it all the way to hell, but it was a good little back and forth. And I will say, Giselle sat and saw that there was these problems between Jazzy and Kay, and her messy tail last minute invited Jazzy on that trip, their vacation to Nevis, I think they went to. She saw that Kay and Jazzy had a problem, and she wanted to see it fester. She wanted to see it blow up. She wanted to see it bubble. I know Giselle. And speaking of moving on, I will say Giselle not giving Stacy a customized robe. Giselle wrote all of the ladies a customized letter. She gave them all a little customized robe with their name on it and embroidered makeup bag with their initials on it. Stacy did not have her name embroidered on her robe. She had no letter, and her makeup bag was like not only was it not embroidered, it was not the same bag as the other ladies. It was like a cheap alternative. Now, Giselle, that is so petty. It's beyond petty. I love that for TV, but I hate that for Giselle. That is so petty. It's like you hate to love Giselle because she's a villain and she knows she's a villain and she just leans into her villain era. So you just hate to love her, you know. So apparently Kay gets exposed by Jazzy for talking mess about Wendy 6 months ago, and apparently 6 months ago her and Wendy were friends. And I will say, Kay could not even deny it. She really couldn't. Like, she was just quiet and then she was just angry and upset, but she couldn't be like, I never said that. She kind of tried to say, oh, that's not true at the end, but like, Kay, you really hate on Wendy. Yeah. And then Wendy also calls out Angel for hating on Jazzy and says like, and she tries to say like, oh, okay, that's what I meant. Sorry y'all, sometimes I'm like reading the notes that I wrote to myself and like they don't make quite literally any sense because they're just a collection of broken sentences and half-written thoughts. Love that for me. But Kay calls Wendy calls Angel out for hating on Jazzy earlier at the Preakness lunch. And she points out like, you were asking her about what position your husband playing. You were like, oh, my husband's a 10-year starter. Like, you had no reason to say that. Angel tries to be like, oh, well, she asked me about my husband. She asked me. And then Bravo producers proceeded to play the clip of her mentioning to Jazzy, oh, what position does your husband play? What team does your husband play for? Nobody asked you, girl. And then her offering up the information that her husband was a 10-year starter. Nobody asked you. I don't know when you thought somebody asked you, but maybe you asked yourself in your mind. Yeah, Angel, I think she's really pretty, but I think she's a big weirdo. I'm sorry. Like, girl, what are you talking about? She lost in the sauce right now. Yeah. And then they kind of dogpiled on Angel because they called Angel out for editing her photos, and they said they saw a picture of her that didn't look like her. since the picture has no filter, no edits, no nothing, the picture looks completely not like Angel at all. I didn't know that that was Angel in the picture. Of course, the producers kept putting the picture up on the screen, but it looked nothing like her. It was clearly filtered up and face tuned up, so I don't know why she lied about that blatantly. Yeah. And Ashley said her behold that woman is like actually insane. That made me gaggle. Her behold that woman. Don't stop playing with me, Ashley, please. Um, so yeah, y'all, that is the Real Housewives of Potomac. All of my updates. That this week's episode was actually a really good episode. It's starting to heat up, you know. On the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I felt like that this week's episode of that was a little bit boring. The biggest thing that came out of it was Heather finally addresses Lisa and says that everyone thinks that Lisa drops bad information about people when she gets in an argument about them with them, and she digs up information about them when she gets in an argument with them, which everyone agrees that they think she does do this, and she does plant stories in the news. And yeah, basically Lisa just like cries and does a whole thing, and they argue about it. That's the whole episode, them arguing about it, and Lisa throwing a tantrum. So yeah, hopefully next week's episode of Salt Lake City will be better. And I'm sorry if I'm super tongue-tied today, y'all. I'm sleepy, and I can barely talk on a regular day. So, with that being said, it's time to end the video because I'm clearly delirious. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all.